Hello guys, in this video we are going to talk about TypeScript, what it is, why it's important, and whether it's worth learning. These are questions that I engaged with for quite some time and I decided to share the results of my journey for all the people that are engaged with the same questions. Let me start by a brief introduction which will give you a bit more context about the goal of this video. I was always skeptical of TypeScript in my programming journey as I mainly learned to use JavaScript for all my development projects and needs. Until I decided one day to look for myself and make my own opinion, namely by going through the official TypeScript documentation and the TypeScript handbook. The results that I found were fascinating, which is what I intend to share with you in this video. The first question that I want to answer is, what is TypeScript? TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript, meaning that it offers all of JavaScript features with an additional layer on top of these, which is the TypeScript type system. Consequently, knowing how to write JavaScript code means that one also knows how to write TypeScript code, that one only needs to make the extra step, or leap of faith as it were, to learn how TypeScript type system work and reap all its benefits. As the TypeScript handbook states, your existing work in JavaScript code is also TypeScript code. The main benefit of TypeScript is that it can highlight unexpected behavior in your code, lowering the chance of bugs, which might seem a bit abstract as we are reading it from the official documentation, which we will get to understand through an example that I will outline just now. A second question that I want to address is the following one. Is TypeScript worth the investment? And to answer that question, I would like to refer to a very interesting example made in the TypeScript handbook documentation. The example is the following one. Suppose you have a variable called message, and you want to access the toLowerCase method on that variable as the image shows. Now you might say that this is a trivial example and that accessing a method on a variable is a common and simple task in JavaScript development. And it actually is, but what I want you to pay attention to is the underlying principles behind this example. The idea is that calling the toLowerCase method on the message variable requires us to answer several critical questions beforehand in order for us to accurately predict the code behavior. These questions are the following ones. Is the variable message callable? Does it have a property called toLowerCase on it? If it does, is toLowerCase even callable? If both of these values are callable, what do they return? Developers often answer these questions abstractly and even unconsciously through practice, but the idea is that by doing so, they have to hope to get all the details right. And the question is, why should developers hope to get the details right when they can know for sure whether they got them right with the help of TypeScript? So that's where TypeScript comes into the scene, because it answers those questions for us before even executing the code and gives us immediate feedback that we can use to correct our false assumptions and build more robust code. Let's extend the first example and look at this following example to illustrate the point I just made about TypeScript. I defined in this example a message variable which has a string value of hello. After that, I tried calling that variable the same way I would call a function. And you can see TypeScript is providing me with an immediate feedback saying that I cannot call the message variable because it's not a function but a string. The way TypeScript did that is by answering the questions that I previously outlined and by recognizing that the variable message is not callable because its type doesn't have this capability. Had we used JavaScript, we would have needed to execute the code first and then get an error, look at the error log, come back to the code, and then correct the mistake. TypeScript prevents all this tedious process from happening in the first place, which is why it's so powerful and great.